Thank you very much. I'm Gulhan Karsak from Kırklareli University, from Education Sciences. This is a side product of my PhD thesis. The Weblog or blog environment's impact was what I questioned in the education of gifted and talented students. Many students have limited writing performance. When we look at the errors of teaching writing, generally it's not the quality of the writing but copying the text as they are. And this is what generally the assignments ask for. But among gifted students in different fields, in the writing field we have many talented students, which is rather surprising for us. The content is very qualified, or on the contrary, we have gifted students who have great difficulties in terms of writing even the smallest paragraph. For such students, we see they can't do proper planning. They have difficulties in terms of constructing the content and structure. They don't have strategies, and they don't make sense in terms of their writing. When we do both self-regulation and peer review, they're not cohesive, and the teachers find it difficult to make sense of what they write as well. So for this purpose, for the educators and teachers to motivate them, maybe initially, the students could be asked about their fields of interest, and moving these fields of interest, such assignments based on their age groups could be given, and in different environments or media where students could be motivated and have fun, could be a great idea. And in writing activities, something they could associate with their preliminary knowledge. So maybe as a previous preparation, when they are briefed about what they're going to write, or in the initial phase when they have previous information, it could come handy.
Bahsettiğim tarzdaki çalışmaların öğrencinin üst düzey becerilerinde ve eleştirel,
especially in the critical thinking and executive functions, they could be functioning very well. These activities could come in handy. Blogs are rather popular. Even the housewives use for cooking. Well, we don't use them in teaching, but on the international scale, blogs are used very frequently, and they give you opportunities of archiving. The students can access them anytime, anywhere, about any subject they would like. And there is also the commenting section, which is very easy. They could comment whenever they want, wherever they want. They could read the revision and comments of the feedback of teachers. So that could be a useful environment for both. In terms of interaction among students, blog medium could be useful, and they could contribute to the students, both in terms of self-review and also the feedback of teachers, as well as reading the works of their peers. They can leave comments and feedback, so it could come in handy in terms of the critical thinking. For what purposes can we use blogs? For student projects, for discussion and debates. Blog medium is an individual field, but we know that blogs were tried for cooperation projects, collection of data, research, feedback, making presentation, and planning different types of genres of text could be using the blog. So why blog rather than conventional writing? Because blog writing, because of the opportunities I have mentioned, constitutes a sustainability. So there's a constituency, but there is an end to the conventional writing. It allows for social interaction compared to the conventional writing. When we look at the literature in the field, we see that mainly this research is in high school and college level. But writing is such a skill that it should be developed starting from early ages. That would be more useful. So we wanted to see how that is developed, that could be developed in smaller children, in the younger children. So blog medium, especially all types of online environments. Why did they simply focus on older ages? Because they believe older ages, older children, older individuals can take the responsibility of online media. And that's why, they don't really focus on the smaller children, the younger children. But I guess that's worth a try. Especially, that's what we tried on the 5th level, 5th grade. And for the children to take their responsibilities, we wanted to have a hybrid environment. So in combination, there is a combination. So blog plus the face-to-face interaction and teaching. Planning, strategy utilization, practice and review skills or capabilities would be improved. The writing practice, which is in combination with hybrid teaching and blog writing, was studied. So the pattern of the research is pre-test, final test, pre-test, post-test, control group pattern. In City A, we had 14 students who were going to the Culture, Science and Technology Center. We wanted to measure their critical thinking. We used the critical thinking scale. So when we look at the learning environment, in the first week, for 4 hours, they were given preparation activities. So what does that include? Computer literacy, blog debriefing, the story genre, but upon the questions asked to the students, we asked them, and they wanted to write in the form of stories, reminding them, briefing them about the genre of story, and fine arts branches, which were picked from the curriculum of the Ministry of National Education in the textbooks. So, debriefing about the genres of fine arts. The content was delivered to the students. Well, they read from the textbooks or from the given websites, because there was limitation in terms of the websites they were previously given. So they made a research about the particular subject of fine arts that week, and then writing activities were completed on the blog in the experimental group. In the control group, it was face-to-face. It was, written on paper. And about the branches of fine arts, they were reading the content from the control group was reading from the papers, not the websites. And in the blog environment, they were associating their stories with the content they previously read. And every week, first of all, in order to ensure their responsibilities, they were doing the writing on the blog. Following that, at least one comment was asked from them. They had to do at least one comment, make one comment. But of course, they need to fill in the forms, self-monitoring forms, self-feedback forms. And for the peer review, they needed to take into consideration the criteria they were given. So it's not a random feedback or revision. Again, the students, after every work activity, they were leaving their feedback every week until the end of that week. For example, the first week, they wrote about the sculptures. And they could leave their comments until the very end of the week. But in the control group, it was only classroom environment. They were supposed to write their comments on the pages and share with one another. But there was not that time advantage which was in the blog environment group. Well, this is how the results are indicated between the experimental and the control group. In terms of the SAP capabilities and critical thinking, there is no significant change. However, in the experimental group, when we compare pre-test and post-test results, in the blog group, critical thinking skills, excluding the combination, there is a significant change in terms of all of the subsets. Again, the control group students, which were paper-based, there is no significant change difference between the pre-test and post-test results. So we can't think about it, but these are on These are all within the group. So why within the group? When there is no significant group, I looked at within the group results. In terms of gender, in the experimental group, based on gender, there is no significant difference. So girls and boys don't have superiority upon one another. In the control group, for pre-test, again, there's no significant change or difference. Control group, post-test, based on gender, there is no significant difference. Well, we didn't come up with differences, but when we look at different trials or studies, we have researchers who have come up with and who didn't come up with changes. When we look at Grable in Indianapolis, they made a research with 35 8th grade gifted students. We could continue looking at the impact of blog writing in Turkish and the other classes. Students and teachers should be trained about blog training because, it's not still considered a part of the holistic approach. And in terms of writing, generally they write and it's done. And only the teacher provides feedback, but self-feedback and self-review and peer review should be also in place. And in terms of writing performance, if you're interested in normal-minded students and gifted students, you could look at my PhD thesis in the National Thesis Center. Thank you very much for your kind interest.